we're going to talk about tuning. Do you not want to be in this? Okay. All right, so this is my invisible student here. So the reason that we tune the A string to something else is because the oboe in an orchestra can play an A really, really well. It's like an easy note for them to play beautifully. And the difference in the sound waves make it possible to hear an oboe even when everyone else is playing. Whereas if you have one violin playing and then you add another 20 violins to it, you suddenly can't tell which is the one that's in tune. Right, so that's a little bit of just tuning information. The reason that we tune the A string and then down is because the E string is the tightest and therefore the most sensitive. So if you tuned the A and the E and you tune the E string perfectly, and then say your G string was very out of tune and you had to do loads of this, which may, probably not on your instrument, probably not even mine, but maybe on a really expensive instrument with a very sensitive bridge. You might move the bridge just a tiny bit so the E was then out of tune. Or maybe it even has moved it on your instrument. I've never actually done an experiment like that before. So we tune down first so that the thickest strings get moved in case they move the bridge, and then you do the most sensitive string last. Okay, so the first thing that you need to think about when you're tuning your A string is whether the A you're tuning to is the same or different. So I'm going to give you an A string and you're going to tell me whether it's the same or different, and notice this is going to be very easy for you. So here's my A, and because of that thing where if we play them together they might just turn into a big mishmash of A's, we play my turn, your turn when we're tuning violin to violin. Okay? Same or different? Right, next question. Who's higher? Excellent. And then what you want to do is take your thumb on your left hand, think about that being in control, and you're thinking about if you want your strings to go up, you move the thumb, twist it towards the top string, the E string, it's going higher, or twist it towards the bottom to make it go lower. So can you play your A and twist the A string adjuster so that it goes higher? Yes, you can. Keep going. Okay, now listen to mine. Test. Do you think it's perfectly together? Nearly. Good. Brilliant. Brilliant. So when I've got someone who has never done tuning before, that's where I stop the first week of like, so you now just go and practice undoing your A string, playing the A on a computer or on a keyboard or on a piano or whatever, and then just practice tuning it the right way. But because you're kind of a bit beyond that, we're going to go on to the next one. So I'm going to borrow your violin if I can, because you've got adjusters. So the special thing that happens when you're out of tune, it's like you've got to imagine you've got the A string and you've got the D string, and when they're perfectly in tune, the sound waves are like really identical shape. So it's like two waves that are matching, yeah, completely parallel. But shaped. And then what happens when they're out of tune is like the A string's perfect and the D's going like weird. And I call this the pulsing. Can you hear the pulsing? It's like the D's going Zoom might be able to hear, not Zoom, YouTube might be able to hear that. Right, so then, what's our next problem? We know it's out of tune. What do we need to know next?
You have to tune it up or down.
Yes, well done. So to find out, sometimes you might just know, but often you won't know. And so to find out, you're going to play the A string, because we know that's perfect, right? You've tuned that to something else, so you know that's right. If you're by yourself, you use an electric tuner, which tells you, yes, you're bang on A. But then put it away, don't use it for the rest of your strings. Okay, so we play the A, you sing down inside your head, do, 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 do. Then you play the D, and you know whether it's higher or lower than the one inside your head. The reason we use the one inside our heads and not actually singing out loud is because your internal ear, your internal singing voice, will be more in tune than your actual singing voice. So if you imagine it, it will be spot on. Whereas if you sing it, you might, you know, whatever. So here's your A, inside your head. Can you hear that D inside your head? Is it flatter or sharper?
I think it's flatter.
Very good. So now, last bit of demonstrating. So as we go up, what's going to happen is that the pulsing sound is going to get slower and slower and slower, and then it's going to disappear because it's perfectly in tune. Can you hear it slowing down? Well, this disappears. So it's not that there's no ringing, because it's very resonant, but it's not doing that pulsing thing. Could you hear that? Excellent. So now we do exactly the same thing on the D and the G. So there we go. Mess that one up for you. So play me the D and the G together and see if you can hear the pulsing. Can you hear it kind of going? It's like an angry sound.
It's quite fast.
Yeah. Which means it's quite out of tune. So then, what do you need to do?
Find out. Sing down.
Great. So play the D. Sing down in your head. Stop playing that. Play the G. Sharp or flat?
Not really.
Not sure? Do it again.
The D.
Yeah, just that whole process of singing down again.
Is it a bit flat?
Good. So once you've got your answer, you're going to play it and you're going to make it go higher by using the thumb to bring it towards the E string, because that's your highest string. Yeah, like that. But when you're playing. Big D and G, otherwise you can't hear it. Just is a note getting higher. You can't hear when it gets into tune. Keep going. What do you notice?
It's getting slower.
Is it?
I can't.
Keep going. Make sure your bow is balanced on both strings. Good. Keep going. Here's a new question. Is it getting better or worse? So, what does that mean?
It's getting worse.
Yes, we've gone the wrong way. No big deal, right? No one died. Doesn't matter. Just, we got it wrong. So then you just go the other way. And that's exactly what you do if you don't know, if you can't work out which way to go, just pick a direction and go until you realise whether you've either fixed it or it's getting worse, and then you know to go the other way. Can you hear it's very slow now? Yeah, play me one. Happy? Yeah, good, great. And then the E string and the A string, basically it doesn't really do the pulsing thing. It just sounds horrible when it's out of tune. So the way that I say to my students is very unscientific. Do you like your E? Would you like to listen to the E and the A all day? Because if it's in tune, it'll sound fine. But if it's out of tune, you'll be like, it's horrible. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I could listen to it. It's not my favourite. It's quite boring, but yeah. So do you want to check your E and A? So the steps are tune your A to another A or to a tuner, then make sure that you don't move the A again, play the A and D together. If it's wrong, play the A, sing down inside your head to the D, work out whether that means that your D is sharp or flat, and then tune it. and listen for the pulsing sound to get slower and slower and slower until the A and the D sound like they're going in perfect harmony. Same for D and G, and then for A and E, just make it sound nice basically.